welcome to New Dad Order. In this episode, this is part 3 of our 4-part series where we kind of go into a little bit of the dad identity crisis. In this part 3 right here, we tackle rediscovering ourselves as our new role as a husband and a father. The hobbies that we once had and the things that occupied our time are no longer those things. And what have we done to get to the point where we are now and not letting our kids be our own identity? So new hobbies, that new identities, Ray becoming a coach, myself getting into CrossFit and running and things of that nature. I hope you guys are enjoying our 4-part series here as we dive into the things that have shaped us and created a little bit of a dad identity crisis as we work through them. But make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop us a comment below. And as always, let's go.
Welcome to the New Dad Order podcast. My name is Ray. Got Parfait over there.
How's it going, everybody? Ray, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Well, that's great because now we're on to part 3 to our 4-part, the dad life crisis and all the things that go along with it. From the first one from dating to a dad and our role becoming, and then becoming a parent as well. And then also too with the second one where we talked about some work-life balance and don't have all the answers, but the things that we've tried to do in order to create that for ourselves as we've gotten older and our careers have changed and our family dynamics have changed and, and finding a good spot and being happy with the spot that we have found for that, hoping that everybody else can do that as well. And then now after all that, in that whole process of getting to where we're at now, there was a moment for myself, and I'm pretty sure you probably went through it too because of our hobbies or way our friendship was established is trying to rediscover ourselves. And what I say rediscover ourselves, where I think so many people get wrapped up in their identity being their child, especially in the sports world, right? Where it seems like it happens in youth sports where so many dads lose track of who they are and they live through their kid. And so not to be sports specific necessarily, but just in general, there are certain things that I have tried to do since I've become a father that allows me to have my own identity. Hey guys, want to talk to you real quick about a product that is really great for recovery that has just become a very vital part to me as I continue to age, and all these dads out there listening that are going through the same thing that want to make sure that they can keep their energy level up and get that rest that they need. Thirdsy's a product loaded with a bunch of things, which one thing it does not have is melatonin, so you won't be groggy in the morning. Check it out. Promo code NDO16 to get you a discount at checkout. You won't be disappointed. It'll help all your recovery to get you ready for the next day. I know some personal things, or there's certain things to you that you have done from the time that you were single Ray, living the life in Buffalo, New York, and then coming down to New Orleans, Louisiana, to becoming dad. And then now that you're dad, becoming the man that you are today with grown children. Were there moments where you were like, man, I got to get back to being Ray, D1 blood type stuff?
I think.
Or did you struggle with it, finding yourself back?
No, I've always been like that homebody. I've always been a homebody, but I forced myself from the time I got to college all the way up until I met my wife to go out.
Okay, so you actually forced yourself to have a social life where so many people who don't enjoy going out will just be home.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually impressive.
Yeah. I had to go, like going to the casinos and stuff like that. I'm like, and I didn't want to spend money, but then you had to spend money to go into the club. So yeah, it was more going out, socializing, enjoying that went away when I became a dad,
obviously.
Right? That went away. But it wasn't something I said, you know what, I got to get back to the club.
So what did you do, right? So that was your outlet. That was your outlet
that and poker.
Poker. Did you kept playing poker, obviously?
For a little while.
Okay.
And then as the little one.
All right. So that part of you, so Ray down in New Orleans, hanging out at the casino, go to the nightclub, holler at some girls, do whatever you did, right? So big confident Ray in the club? No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's true. You were a pop locking champion.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then poker, and then dad. And then all those things, definitely those hobbies have went away. I mean, I say hobbies, those outings went away. And then what did you do to get back into something that was for you, for your mental health, the things that you like to do that became your identity? Poker and going out and hanging out and meeting people were it. That obviously changed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think all dads go through this. It just became about the kids and still about the kids. Now, there's times where I've been able to go back and play poker every now and then, right? I'd go out. But for me, now remember when I used to go out and play, I'd go play for hours. Like I would go.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was it.
I'd be at the casino for a weekend.
Yeah, well.
Okay,
Yeah.
And I don't think you did that.
No,
I'd be there Saturday to Sunday, and I would leave.
Yeah, no.
Right, Saturday night, because I wanted all that action.
Me too, but I said hours, and I'd come back, and I'd be like, Ray, yep. I'm like, oh, man, like, when did you get here? I'm like, I never left. Like,
yeah.
That's terrible, man. You only got $400 in front of you.
It was 500.
Oh, all right, yeah.
But no, that was one of the things. So I had to pull back. Even though I tried to go back a little bit and play some more poker, I was always thinking, unfortunately, about my family. I was thinking about my family.
You felt guilty?
It wasn't really guilt.
Okay, all right.
It was, I want to be with them.
You'd rather be there.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to be with them. So I was like, all right, I'm up $100, just $100. All right, and I would leave.
Yeah.
I would leave. And so it eventually got to a point where I just didn't want to go anymore. Didn't want to go. And that's when she was younger. And then I tried to go back later on. So it'll go back and forth. I'm pretty sure I'll get the bug here when she's done with school this past year. I'll get the bug again.
And then do that.
Yeah. So but see, I didn't have a lot of stuff.
So
because
what is the thing now?
So yeah, try to go back and play poker, but then I got back into. So then my 5-year-old started wanting to play football, and I let him go play, and I would sit up there and watch practices.
That'd be a good moment for you, though, right?
Yeah, it was. It was awesome, and I'd watch practices, and I'd watch those coaches coach, and I'd just shake my head all the time. But I was never that dad,
right?
That would be like, son, don't listen to that. Do this. I was never that guy. I think we talked about this already.
Yes, we have.
Never that guy. But if he asked me what I thought when we got home, we would talk about it at home. We wouldn't talk about it out there. So after the first year, after 2 years of him playing for other people, we came to Ponchatoula. I got into coaching.
So you got into coaching. So
basketball first.
Coaching is where you started to rediscover yourself.
Rediscover
thing,
myself. Right? And then when I got into coaching basketball, I was suggested by a parent, you should coach football. I'm like, I always wanted to coach football. Found an opening spot with
you coaching
PYF.
Football tends to make sense.
Oh, it does. It does. And when I found that bug, I sort of was like, I wish I would have found this earlier.
But that took you into a whole world of
a whole world.
Not just, I mean, coaching is one thing, but who were you coaching? You were coaching kids. Well, then eventually that led to leadership roles at the recreation department.
Yep. I became a board member with the local PYF, PYB, whatever it may be now, PBA. Became a board member, and then as the years went on, and I'm talking about years, several years.
Well, that right there too. Even going back to the first thing of the work-life balance, you were doing, managing career and everything, and then kids, and then your kids started playing sports, and then not just getting involved with coaching, but then also getting involved with board member things. And those are other phone calls that happen after work hours that become a whole different headache in itself.
Yeah, that became a job in itself.
So
never really thought about that.
Yeah, well, for me, it was whenever I saw you the first time, whenever my boy started playing basketball at that place, I hadn't seen you in a while because you weren't playing cards anymore, and I was going sporadically, and the chances of us running into each other would have just been really slim. We'd have a better chance of running each other in the grocery store than at a card table.
I think when we saw each other, we were there. We were talking for a while.
Yeah, and for me, it was like, no, like, people, how you know Ray? I'm like, well, that's my old poker buddy. And they were like, poker buddy? I'm like, well, that's Coach Ray.
Yeah.
You know? And so your identity here was everybody in this community. You were coach.
Yeah.
You know? And so that was, that was a big moment where, and you were coaching, you're not just coaching your kids. You're coaching kids.
A bunch of kids.
Yeah. And I think that's huge because, whenever you mention, youth sports where so many dads who didn't even play D1, they just played high school sports, want to get into coaching. And then you see the stress that they put on their young athlete to be what they never were, but yet they thought they were. And that becomes their identity. You coach your kids, but you coach all these other kids, which means you're not living through somebody else's son. You're just trying to help that kid be as good as he can be and as hard as he's willing to work. And that's a pretty strong reputation whenever, like, what does Coach Ray do so good? And it's like he gets them to work hard.
Yeah, it was respect. My two biggest things out there was respect and effort. I think we talked about that before. Respect and effort. That's what I wanted out of them. Yeah, they could be the worst kid, but if he gave me all the effort that he could give, it was awesome watching a kid from day one to day end, right to the end of the season, and see the growth, and the upward trajectory. And the other thing too is my wife.
Okay.
My wife sort of allowed me to, but it was like a joint effort, like, in Christ, let's go do this.
Yeah.
Let's give back to the community along with my kids. Let's give back. So yes, that rediscovery of coaching and becoming Coach Ray out there now.
No, which is great though. New Dad Order podcast to talk to you about a new pre-workout, relatively new to the market, new to myself as well, but it's getting the job done. It's not loaded with caffeine like a lot of the other pre-workouts. So if that's what you're looking for, then this probably isn't the product. But it is based in nootropics, which actually helps brain function. So if you've ever deep dove into that, this is part of what that product has right here. Going to get you ready for the workout. I'm a 5 a.m.er. Like I said, I need it. A lot of flavors. Hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the website. You'll get a New Dad Order discount. Pick your flavor. Bunch of other products as well. They have canned energy drinks. So thanks for listening. Check out Dubby and get that workout. I guess, our friendship was at the poker table. That's where it was established at. And then our lives obviously went, I'm not going to say separate direction. It just went, tracked the way it tracked because we were getting older. And then oddly enough, this small town and that recreation department led us to running into each other again. And it was like a friendship that never ended, but it was just like hey, why don't we talk more often type thing? And then it evolved into this as well. Yeah. And so, and for me, I guess leaving the poker table, I never really left. I mean, I definitely left compared to the hours that I used to put in. Okay, and it wasn't because I was forced. My wife encouraged, she's like, go play. And I was like, oh, no, I don't feel like going. And she's like, well, go. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? She's like, I'm going to bed at 9:30. So why don't you just leave now and go play unless you really want to hang out with me for another hour before I go to bed. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go play. And so like that was even whenever we had Luke, so there was whenever he was a little kid, she's like, just go. We don't have anything to do tomorrow. And obviously once he started playing sports and our Saturday mornings became wrapped up, that right there was, okay, like, my kid's playing sports now. I can't go play poker. I'm like, what am I going to do to have my me time? And I think that me time is a big deal for a lot to be able to decompress and not carry the stresses along and just do something for yourself that is mental health. And that was whenever my wife and I, we both got into running. And I couldn't justify going play golf for 5 hours because golf is a 5 or 6 hour thing whenever you have it. It's not, it may take you 3.5, 4 hours to play around, but you got to drive to the course. You're going to hit a bucket of balls. You're going to play a round of golf. You're going to have a beer before you get in the car with the boys, and then you're going to drive home.
I got into that for a little while.
It's like 6 hours, man. That's all day. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, first of all, I can't put that on her whenever we have 5 days of work. Yeah. And then we have 2 days to do us. I can't take that away from, I don't want to be away from. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, and that's whenever, like I said, we got into running. And there was a lot of times whenever those miles were split where I would wake up. It was obviously whenever Luke was born. That's the whole point of this, is rediscovering ourselves after we have kids. And it was I'm up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to run 5-6 miles. And so I'll be back in an hour. And then, all right, now you go run your 5-6 miles. And then Carolyn would go run. So we didn't run together, but it was like time where we didn't live next door to family. Grandma and grandpa did not live next door to us. We didn't have aunts and uncles that can come over and watch them. We didn't have this. How do we get some time for ourselves knowing that it's going to be us three all the time? And it was an hour-long run on Saturday morning, her by herself, and then I'm home with a dude, and then she would go. And then we got the running stroller, and then he got a little bit older, and so we would do that, and then we'd just sign up for a 5K race. We ran so many 5Ks, and you can tell whenever you look around this room where there's nothing but so many running bibs. But that became our family hobby. That became, our rediscovering ourselves each of finding something, and it was running. And that evolved into me. I'm like, okay, well, like I like running. I'm like, this is my own test. And then as my son got into sports, being very, very conscious, because I have friends like you who played the Division I sport, and I have other friends that played collegiate sports as well. It was very important for me to see them or to ask them questions about their childhood and what they did and the things they hated that their parents did, because I didn't want to steer my kid away from sports. And whatever their parent did, whatever your parent did, was obviously the right thing to do to let them mature as an athlete. Like I said, I don't think he's going to play a Division I sport, but what I do want him to do is love sports as much as I love them now and as much as he loves playing them now. I want him to love that as long as he can.
So I'll stop you right there real quick. I want you to believe he will. Because when I want you to believe that he will, because then he will believe that he will. He may not. But if you believe it, he believes it. And that gives him just that extra bonus. Because I hear it too much. I'm too short. I'm too this. I'm too that. I won't be able to make it. I'm not going to make it. I've seen too many guys that were that small.
All right. I mean, I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay?
I have no reason not to.
It comes down to being a mental
I
thing
do
as well.
believe that. And I do.
I know we're talking.
Yeah.
All right, and we're putting it out here, but he may not hear that, but he needs to see it from you. He needs to believe, and I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure when you're with him, you make him believe.
Yes.
But that's one thing because I've heard it too often from you. He may.
Well, no, I don't have. I'll put it to you this way: I am not going to put expectations on a 9-year-old of something like that.
That's not what I'm saying. I just want to make sure we understand.
Yeah,
to clarify.
No, as far as his dreams of his dream is to be a pediatric cardiologist. You know, it would be great if he can get a scholarship to play a sport to get him along those lines to do it. That would be awesome.
Because I've had several guys like that. As a matter of fact, we have to practice, and the kid's like, I got pre-med. My classes now. I got to go.
So, yeah.
They had to let him go. They had to let him go. So what I'm saying is just, I just want to make sure you understand that just you need to believe.
No, I would never crush his dream if his dream is
I didn't think you would.
No,
I didn't think you would. And I don't think you're one of those dads who are like, oh, he's going to play D1 ball.
No, absolutely not. No. I mean, I just, you know what? You said that, the two things that respect and effort, and there are two things that I tell him and every other kid I coached whenever I was coaching him. I said there were only two things that you can control whenever you're on the field. That's it. Effort and focus. It's the only two things an athlete can control on the field. And I tell him that every single day, and he knows that. There are a couple sayings in our house that he knows, and I'll say, Luke, what's the two things you can control? He'll say effort and focus. And then I'll pass by and I'll say weak legs equal. He'll say weak minds.
Awesome.
So never skip leg day. So
awesome.
Those are a couple little sayings that we have in our weak legs equal weak minds. We always train tired. That's something that I want him. Those are things that I put in him. I want him to train tired. I tell him stories of Michael Jordan, who only lifted weights after he played games. Kobe lifted weights after he played games. Like he did those things like, Let's train tired. Let's train tired. And that right there became part, but him training tired, we're talking about to circle this back as far as like rediscovering ourselves. He sees me work out, and I know I've mentioned that before. And that's part of what I did to say rediscover. That's my identity now. Like that is what That is what I truly enjoy to do. The people in my circle know, whether they think it's annoying or not, it doesn't matter. What do I like to do? I like to wake up 5 or 6 days a week, and I like to do CrossFit. Yes, that's
So that's the other piece. I was waiting for you to get there.
And
because you were talking about the 5Ks and everything, but you didn't get to the CrossFit piece.
And then it came
yeah.
to that, and it came to competing, and
Yeah.
signed up for another CrossFit competition where I'm the old guy. Like, I'm the old guy that got asked to join I'm the only guy born in the 80s on the team, you know, like that type of thing. So they had a group of guys from the gym. We're going to Beach Brawl at the end of September. It's a huge, huge competition in Pensacola, Florida. And they do it twice a year, in the fall and in the spring. We're doing the fall one. And they had a team of 3, and it was some guys that I don't typically work out with. I get to work out with them every now and then because I go in the morning. They tend to go in the afternoons. And they're like, hey, man, we need a 4th. You interested? And I'm like, yeah, I think I could do that. Let me make sure. And so made sure that the calendar was nothing on the books that, you know, this far out, which I wasn't really shocked that, you know, I'd have been shocked if there was, but there wasn't. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. And so we're in train mode now, started
some more rediscovery. That's awesome.
And like, that's, you know, that is part of it for me. It was poker and the long hours and traveling. My wife and I traveled so much separately and together. That was so much of who we were. And then we had our little dude, and it became just trying to find things to do to pass our time. And then he got heavy into sports, and I'm like, well, he plays a game on Saturday. Our game's not till 10:30. We don't have to be at the field till 9:30. I'm like, well, you know what I got? I got 5 hours in the morning that I can find to do something for myself. So I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna get a workout in before we go do his thing. And she does the same stuff too. And so we both found that, yes, working, you know what? Yeah, I roll if you want, but you know what else it does? It makes me, I want to be healthier so I can live longer. If I can live longer, I'm not cheating him of my time. I'm creating more time in the future. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, my health is very important to me and the things I'm trying to do. And it's so I can be really, really old one day. I just want to be really, really, really old and do things with him and my grandkids and great grandkids if life allows that.
You'd be that 35-year-old guy that just still get it in the CrossFit.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't either.
So
I don't either.
But yeah, so that's I mean that's part of it. I mean, you go through, the whole point of this was a little bit of an identity crisis, and it happened on every stage, but you know, I'm at a very, very comfortable spot right now where what I do on a daily basis is something that truly helps me. And I think that if you can find that hobby that allows you to still not miss family time and do things for your own mental health, and, you know, whether it be reading, whether it be whatever it is, but something that is now a part of you where when someone sees you, that may be the thing that they talk about. I'm a lot happier when people approach me and they'll say something about me working out or us running or something, playing pickleball. You know, like, I'd rather have that conversation than their first question asked, be like, how'd Luke do last weekend? Because they're asking me about me. They're not asking me about what my kid did. They're asking me about me because they know that I have other things in life going on other than just watching my kid play a sport. I love watching it. I love watching it every single chance I get, and I'll never take it for granted. But I also like knowing that I got my hard thing in today. Now he's going to do his hard thing. He saw me Saturday morning. Where was Dad whenever I woke up? Dad was outside in the backyard working out. Where did we go after that? Went and play a game. Bust your butt now, dude.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that's what I want him to do. Effort and focus, those are the two things. Find it, figure it out. And I just think you have to find something that allows you to improve your mental health, whatever it may be, whatever hobby it may be. Playing chess, doesn't matter. Something that becomes part of your identity other than your kid.
So there's a couple of things on the rediscovery you brought up that we don't. It's funny because you sparked the memory because I played golf before.
Okay,
like way back because
right.
I thought I was going to be the next Tiger Woods.
Half Asian, half black. It works.
Right. Moved out here. Now I'm gonna tell you, up in Pittsburgh, up in the Pennsylvania area, lots of golf courses.
Yes, they have.
Down here, not so much. Not so much.
No,
because of the lack of land. Yeah. I get it.
And it's swamp. It's everything.
Oh yeah, I get it. So when I came down here, it went away a little bit, but then I tried to rediscover that. And you're right. The worse you play and you're chasing the ball all over the place, it takes a lot longer. and you're thinking about your kids. So yeah, so there's different things to try to rediscover yourself that you can go out and try to do. I mean, golf is one. I don't know, racquetball, what, pickleball now, right? Got the pickleball thing. Yeah, of course I do. Pickleball.
Yep.
What's the origin of pickleball? What's it?
I don't know. Some hippies
Hippies, you
and
think?
a dog named Pickle.
And a dog named Pickle.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, but no, those things are very important, and I think that understanding the things that you experienced and not saying, "Man, I wish I used to do those," or "Man, I wish I could go do those things again," and understanding that that part of your life is what shaped you into what you are now is great. And reminiscing and being able to have those stories of the stuff you used to do is awesome. But then finding something new, finding some type of release that becomes your own is very important. And whatever that may be. And if it involves your spouse, whether my wife and I, yep, we were the family that ran 5Ks together, and we probably always will be. It doesn't matter. But those couples that find the date night, and I think that's awesome. And I wish we could do that. But I think that's a very important thing where you start to rediscover yourself, where you plan a date night. Why not? Schedule time to be with your spouse is not the worst thing in the world. So date night, things like that, schedule time to be with your spouse, like that's not a terrible thing, because it's actually the next topic that we're going to get into, which is marriage beyond the kids and how we manage those things. So, we've done it from dating to dad, some work-life balance, rediscovering ourselves, and just tying that all in together with what it's like to be married and just not focus on your kids and find those things. And that'll be the next thing that we get into. But no, Ray, this was, I don't know, it was good. It was a little bit of reminiscing and also a little bit of reflection to realize that we have evolved, as much as sometimes I think that I haven't, knowing that I truly have evolved. And you being from, the guy that I would pretend to talk crap to until they realized that we were friends because you're the biggest dude at the table, to now you're Coach Ray. Yeah. And everybody loves you over here for what you provide for them there. I mean, you used to provide a little bit of money to me whenever you'd play bad, and now you provide some skills, some life lessons. No, he wasn't that bad. But no, we appreciate everybody for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below. Find us on Spotify, find us on Big and every other platform, or most platforms out there as far as your podcasts go. And till next time, we'll see you on
New Dad Order.